Hi to all. In the previous video, we started to understand the project structure. So here, this is the continuation of the previous video. In the previous video, we understood that whenever we are creating project, what are the fields we are getting, what kind of names we need to provide, and we understood that one. Now, after creating project, we know we are getting these folders. So we need to understand about each folder in this project. Then it will be easy for us to develop the applications. So what we will do is, here if you see, we have a source folder, gen folder, Android 4.4.2 and some other folders. First of all, what we will do, whenever we started the project, that means Android project development, in which folder we are going to perform which kind of activity, let us list out them. So then it will be very easy for us to understand the project structure. So whenever we are working, that means after creating an project, we are going to write Java code, and we are having the concept of references, and we have the concept of Android SDK, and we have the concept of private libraries, or you can say third-party Java code. And that means we are going to write a Java code, and in the project we have a concept of references, and in which project you created, that means in which version you created the project, that version SDK will come, where it is locating in the project, and where we are going to store the private libraries or third-party libraries. That means without using Android SDK, if you want to use some, that means from the Android SDK we are not having some APIs, let us say. Those APIs we are using from the internet. Those APIs we are getting from the internet as a jar files that we are going to call as a private libraries. So we are getting them, and where we are going to store in our application, where is the location, which folder, that is the concept of private libraries. And we have a concept of static files, and we have a concept of compiled classes and executable files, and images and icons, and we have a user interface design, and we have a concept of global values, and we have a concept of application information and security permissions. So these are the things we are going to perform in the project. That means whenever we are developing Android project, we need to write a Java code, and we have a references. What is a references? Simple. Separately we are creating user interface. If you want to use them in the Java code, so we are accessing them through the concept of references, and in which version we created the project, that version API we need to get, that is only we are calling as an SDK. And we have a concept of private libraries, and we are using some files, we are going to call them as the static files based on the usage. And we have a Java classes, we know that clearly. Why? Because we are using Java code. So Java classes are going to convert it as a dot class files. Later they are going to convert it as executable files. So in which folder we can get them, and in which folder we are going to store the images and icons. Whenever we are developing project, we are going to have requirements that to store the images and icons, in which folder we will maintain the images and icons, and in which folder we are going to design the user interface for our application, and which folder we are going to maintain the global values. Global values in a sense simple. If you created the values like a string or integer or any other kind of values, you can use them in entire application. That is the concept, reusable concept. And entire application information, what is the application package name, and up to which lower version, higher version it is supporting, and the application is going to use some system level resources like Wi-Fi hardware, Wi-Fi camera, Bluetooth, and so we need to provide the security permissions. How many screens are there in the application? What is the launching flow of these screens? Everything we are going to design under application information and security permissions. Now We'll come to the project and let us have a look where we are going to use these references. First one is Java code, simple. Under source folder we write the Java code. You'll see we have a package. What is the package we created for the means? Whenever we are creating project, we have given the package name. That is only the package name here. See, main activity.java. You'll see .java, this is the Java code here. Next, so under source folder only we write a Java code. Sorry, under source folder only we write a Java code. Next one is references. Under gen folder we have a concept of references. Next one is Android SDK. You'll see here we have a Android 4.4.2. That means in Android 4.4 only we created the project, so that SDK came. Next one is private libraries or third-party Java code. You'll see Android private libraries. In this folder again, libs folder, both are same. In these two folders we are going to maintain the private libraries or third-party Java programming, you can say. Next, and dependencies also comes under the same concept, so you need not to learn about the dependencies at this time. Next one is static files. You'll see the assets folder. In the assets folder you can store any kind of file. You can store PDF file, you can store HTML file, you can store XML file, you can store the images. Whatever you store under assets folder, we are going to call them as a static files. Under assets folder, whatever you store, we are calling them as a static files. Next, bin folder. See, we have a concept of compiled classes and executable files. All compiled classes and executable files are going to generate under bin folder. We are not going to create anything in the bin folder, just the bin folder is there to get a compiled classes and executable files. And the next concept is res folder. Res folder we are going to call as a resources folder. So under res folder, whatever you create, under res folder, what are the folders you are creating, what are the files you are creating, for all of them, the gen folder is going to maintain the references. So the moment you create a folder, the moment you create a file, the corresponding references are going to generate under gen folder. References in the sense we know those are hexadecimal integer numbers. Next comes under res folder, we have a file drawable folders. The file drawable folders we are using we are using these file drawable folders to store images and icons. Next concept is we store images and icons. Next is user interface. Under layout folder only we design the user interface. Next is global values. We are using these values for this. You will see the name is also values. Under these three values folders, that means values folders purpose is to create a global values for the application. And finally we have a Android manifest.xml file. The Android manifest.xml file we are maintaining Android application information security permissions. So I think now we have a overview on the complete project, which purpose we have these folders. So next we are trying to next we are going to understand about each folder in depth clearly. So if you want to store the images, how we are going to store them, we are going to create a user interface, how we are going to create a user interface, we are going to understand them in the next video. Thank you for watching.